Gene, first of all, I just want to say thank you for really two things. One is, inspiring so many people around the world, including myself, to really push and test the limits. Second, I want to say a sincere thank you for joining the Run for Life project as an ambassador. And not only that, so kindly then doing an amazing forward for the book as well. I just want to start with that. Thank you. Dean, I was thinking about how do I introduce yourself, right? That's a big sort of a task as well for somebody like yourself, because Times Magazine, I saw, named you one of the 100 most influential people in the world. And I know you've done some crazy stuff. You've, crossed the Death Valley during the middle of the summer. You run a marathon to the South Pole, and the list goes on, right? But for me, Dean, you're the guy who really kicked me to actually get started with this book here, if you remember. Yeah. 50 marathons in 50 days. This is the actual book, and you can see some sort of, coffee marks as well, that I actually read in, it was started in 2013, and 14, I kind of continued to really push myself to do my first marathon, which was in 2015. So with that, I just want to say thank you. And then the audience here might not know you that well. So perhaps, how would you like to introduce yourself? And maybe better, how would you like them to remember you?
Just as a fellow runner, someone who, just like them, loves to run, that maybe a little bit more extreme, but at my heart, I'm just a runner like everyone who's listening and watching.
Thank you. And maybe let's start the chat with your book that's coming up. You've written so many books to share your journey in the past as well. Let's maybe start with why this book and what's in it, and give us a little bit of a peek of what drove you to write this one.
Yeah, so let me grab it. I happen to have a copy right here. The book
Awesome.
It's called A Runner's High. And the book hopefully will give you a runner's high. I mean, I wrote the book to be both entertaining and inspirational. So the story is about not just me, but other runners as well, pushing the limits, and the amazing adventures we share while we're doing that, both the ups and the downs and everything in between. So I wrote my first book, Ultramarathon Man, about my first ultramarathon, which is 25 years ago. And this book is about 25 years of growth and experience, and what I've learned along the way, the lessons I've learned, the hardships I've encountered, as well as the glorious moments that I've had. And to me, it speaks to both something you and I both strive for, and that is longevity in our running. And I see the medals in your background, and you can see some of the medals in my background. I've run over 300 marathons, and I don't intend to stop. So that's kind of in a nutshell what the book is about.
Amazing, Dean. I mean, I'm just dying to get my hands on it. And when am I getting my signed copy?
I wish I could swim over from California and personally sign it.
Absolutely. I'll die for it. Okay, let's have a bit of fun. So I asked a couple of our ambassadors and people, like, I'm actually going to have a chat with you. And I said, like, what questions, do you actually have for Dean? And I got a whole bunch of pings on some crazy questions and, some really, really insightful questions. Maybe we'll actually start with a bit of a rapid fire. So barefoot or shoes?
Both.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
I'm a coffee guy.
Reading or writing?
50-50.
Strava or not?
50-50.
Oh, you're on the edge now here. Breakfast of a champion?
I like sardines and olive oil.
The biggest craving when you're running, not your pizza story in here.
I would say chocolate-covered espresso beans. That's like my one weakness. I love them.
Wow. And the best running accessory?
I would say a good hydration pack, just because I like to run for long distances, self-contained, and to have some food and some hydration in a pack, as well as maybe your cell phone, is a good thing. So a good hydration pack.
Awesome. Thank you, Dean. Thank you for that. And let's maybe switch gears. I pinged you just out of the blue as I was starting this Run for Life project, and I wasn't sure whether I was even going to get a response from you. And then that morning when I actually woke up and saw, you came back and actually said, yeah, you're happy to be an ambassador. I guess the question is, why? Can you kind of give me an insight into why you decided to support the Run for Life project?
Well, probably like yourself, as well as many of the other people that joined this adventure of yours, we longed for that camaraderie of running. When the pandemic hit, gone were our group training runs, our group fun runs, all of the things that we runners love to do, as well as gone were the races where we could, be one with the fans that were cheering along the sidelines. And I thought, let's do the best we can with what we've got. And when I saw what you were doing, I said, this is the right way to do it. So it's been an honor. And, I've loved seeing how this event has grown and blossomed into something really beautiful.
And yesterday I sent a message to all of the people on the platform. We now have 47 countries. People have actually joined, just over 1,300 people on it. And we just crossed over the 9th lap around the world of over 360,000. And we've just got July to go, and we'll definitely exceed the 400,000 kilometer target. So it's definitely kind of exceeded my expectations. But outside of all of the numbers there, Dean, as you know, this is supporting the cause, the Let Kids Fly Foundation. I think that's the real drive out of all of this is, if we can educate 10 students or 10 families, it'll be like 10 communities that we can collectively, join and actually help. So I just want to say, from myself, on behalf of all the runners and the cyclists and everybody and the ambassadors and the Let Kids Fly Foundation, to say a sincere thank you for, your help.
Well, the honor is mine. I was saying, if you build it, they will run. And you built it, so it allowed us to have a medium to create good. And I think that all of us are great fans of yours because we know how much effort went into it, and you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart as well as your spirit for life. And I'm just glad to be part of the movement.
Thank you, Dean. And maybe one of the other questions, Dean, is that I certainly get into the mental rut sometimes, not being able to run, and frankly, this week has been one of those because lots been happening, and there's always excuses to do other things apart from getting your shoes on and actually running. So, would love to understand. I mean, the type of distances you cover is just like mind-boggling, right? How do you keep going from a mental perspective?
I think a lot of my passion is fueled by the sense of adventure. So I like to, not just run races, but also just do sort of adventurous runs on my own. So that means, putting on that said hydration pack and, heading out the door. And sometimes I might take off at, 5 in the evening with a headlamp and run all night. I won't keep track necessarily of my pace. I mean, I really don't care. If I feel like running hard, I'll run hard. If I feel like just jogging, I'll jog. But the indigenous people of Australia have this idea of walkabout, where when you're kind of feeling this staleness, if you will, kind of a burnout, you just leave the place you're at and you just wander about. And I call what I do a runabout. I never do the same route twice. And to me, you see interesting things along the way. You see different sights. You experience the world at 6 miles an hour, and it's very unique to what we are as human, as a human animal. And I think that kind of grounds me and keeps me in touch with, just who I am as a person and where we came from.
So that's interesting. So you're actually driven by the sense of adventure, right? That's what's actually pulling you out of the bed and then continue to do.
Yeah, it's a very different paradigm than most runners, because most runners think, I've got to do my 1 hour run and I'll go to the track, and I'm going to do 10 kilometers today or 15 kilometers, at a sub 5 minute kilometer pace or something like that. Some days I do that, but not every day. To me, Some days it's worth just taking your watch off and just running for the pure enjoyment of just running on it, for itself. You don't need an external goal or anything like that. Just enjoy the very act of running and make running play. And if you can view running as play, it totally changes your mindset and your perspective.
That's interesting. I actually never thought of it that way. And probably part of the challenge I have is because I'm trying to obviously balance with the work and everything else going on and say, right, okay, let me go for a 10K run or a 20K run or 5K run. Perhaps I should change the mindset, to do an adventure, right? Today, I'll just go and explore one part of the town or the other part of the town. That might sort of, remove the time window. Obviously, the challenge is actually finding the time. So how do you find the time?
I make the time. People ask me that all the time. Your time will expand to whatever you schedule yourself for. So a lot of times, when I'm under deadline and I feel like I don't have the time, that's the best time to go out on a run. And if you're time constrained, if you have half an hour, to me, it kind of makes you run faster. Get out the door for half an hour, just do what you can. But a lot of running and a lot of exercise is making the time, making it a priority in your life, as important as any other goal. I mean, what's the point of having a paycheck, and making a living if you can't enjoy it? So, I think there's a balance to be struck there.
And, the other thing, Dean, is, and part of what I'm trying to, at least sort of tell myself and others on this platform, is to come as you are and push your limits, right? No matter at what level you are. If you're walking for 5 kilometers, come and, walk for 10 kilometers. If you're running 10 kilometers, come and run your first half a marathon or marathon. So a lot of people, at least I have spoken, when they talk about a marathon, it just looks like this daunting task, right? And we all know once you have done the first one, it changes who you are and your belief system, right? So if you were to actually tell all these people who are watching this, who might be thinking and doubting themselves about kind of running, let alone running a marathon, like how would you actually tell them to get started?
I would say invest in a good pair of shoes because you'll be that much more comfortable with your running. And, footwear technology, as you and I both know, has advanced so profoundly in the past, 4 or 5 years. So get a good pair of shoes that fit you well. If you like to follow a training plan, follow a training plan. There are plenty of free training plans online. If you like the structure of having a coach, then I would say find a coach. There are a lot of online coaches that are very reasonable. You don't have to spend a lot of money. So I would say, look inside yourself and say, if I'm someone that's self-disciplined and I like training by myself, then follow that routine. If you say I need the structure, I need the support, then find a coach. But I say absolutely run the marathon. And I know a lot of you are saying I could never do it, and that's why you need to do it. It literally will it will unshackle you. It'll change your life forever. And you and I have both experienced that. And I know a lot of marathoners have experienced that. But, if you have self-doubt, the best way to overcome it is to do that thing that scares you the most. And running a marathon scares a lot of people, including myself.
And when you're doing ultras, Dean, like, some of the really longest runs, obviously, I'm just trying to understand how are you actually sort of preparing for that from a mental perspective? Because I understand your regular running, you're saying sense of adventure, but if you're thinking of a really long, I don't know, 100K or something like that, how do you kind of prepare for that mentally, both, before and then keep going during the race?
When I stand at the starting line, I tell myself that today I'm going to be the best Dean that Dean can be. So that's my commitment. Today, I'm going to try my hardest. I'm not going to quit unless they take me out on a stretcher. And that is how I begin the race. It's just with that commitment that I'm going to try my hardest today. And then when things get really tough, I just go back to that commitment that, you said you're going to try your hardest. Just keep going. Just keep being the best Dean that Dean can be. And sometimes I don't think about the future and I don't reflect on the past. I just try to be in the here and now, the present moment of time. And all I focus on is taking my next footstep to the best of my ability. I don't think how far I've got to go to reach the finish line. I don't reflect on the past. All I think about is the present, here and now. And that's how I get through it.
I love that commitment to yourself to be the best that you can be, because that's going to really kind of, set a different mindset and a tone when you're in the ditches to kind of pick yourself up as well. And Dean, what's your next challenge?
Well, it's funny you should ask. Yeah, I've done some pretty wild things. Like I've run 50 marathons in all of the 50 United States in 50 consecutive days. Next, my goal is to run from the lowest point on Earth to the highest point. So that's from the Dead Sea to the top of Mount Everest.
Wow.
And no one has ever done this before. And I just thought it's got to be done. And it combines so many elements that I just love. It's the sense of adventure, the logistics, the planning, all of the difficult work that goes into doing something like that. And then actually going out and doing it. So that's my next goal.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's another adventure. I'm sure there'll be lots of people cheering you up, including one of your friends over here from Australia. And if there's a way that we can help, is there a way that people can get involved to actually help in any way, or is this really you obviously doing your logistics and planning?
Well, I mean, I think people can just follow my website and I'll update on things. But right now that's my goal. And if you feel like there's something you can contribute, like you have a high level contact within a certain government, that if you're willing to pass that along, that'd be fine. But right now it's it's in the planning stages, and soon I'll have a website of its own up. But I'll announce that via my website.
Dean, also then kind of switching gears, as you saw in small way when we started the Run for Life project, we really didn't know where this was going to go, and we ended up with all these like 1,000 people plus, and we created the Life of the Run book, which is going to be released as well. You wrote a really touching foreword for the book. Thank you for that. And again, I think, the way you actually wrote that, you were really trying to inspire people the value of a community and the value of what we can do together if we unite and sort of, look at a particular cause. Do you want to talk a little bit about, what's in the forward and what triggered you to actually think that way?
I've seen the power in running, and I've seen that how compassionate runners are and how giving. And I tried to express that through the movement of our body, through the challenges we face that are quite a bit different than the people, the foundation supports, we can actually do good. So I tried to capture that, and I tried to also, inspire people to be part of the movement and to do what they can to help others that are less fortunate.
And it's been an amazing blast to actually see those inspiring stories that's actually started flowing through. Because when I got this idea, I was actually at a cafe having a cup of coffee, just like all the good ideas come from, right? With another friend of mine. And I was saying we should name this book the Humans on the Run, right? That's how I was initially thinking. And this very good friend of mine, he said, no, actually, this is actually the story of everybody in the run. And this is the lifeblood of the run. So that's how the name actually popped up, Life of the Run. And I don't know whether you can see, I've actually got the cover somewhere there in the background.
Beautiful.
It's been an amazing experience to put it together, and I'm really looking forward to getting that out pretty soon as well. I want to really wish you all the very best for everything that you're doing for yourself and to inspire others.
When I'm signing off here, I'm going to issue a challenge to everyone who's watching and listening to this. I think you said you're at 47 countries, right? 47 countries. Yeah. I think we need to get to 50. I think we need to get to 50. So email all your friends that are overseas in different countries, and let's try to rally them to join the movement.
I love it. I love that idea. That's going to, go really well with 50 marathons, 50 days, 50 countries. That could be the next book for you, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So thank you, Dean, and bless you with everything that you're doing, and we'll hopefully cross paths soon.
Strength and endurance, brother. Keep it up.